Today, it's time for our bedtime story. Once upon a time, in a little cottage at the edge of the woods, there lived a boy named Leo and his mother. Mira, they didn't have mushnat, a grand house, not fine clothes, and certainly not a mountain of gold. What they did have was a small patch of garden, a kind heart, and a cow named Buttercup who gave them fresh milk every day. But one morning, Buttercup gave no milk, not a drop. Leo tried everything he patted gently, gave her a sweet apple, even sang her favorite song. But Buttercup just looked at him with sleepy eyes and lay back down. Mira sighed. Without Buttercup's milk, she said softly, we won't have anything to sell at the market. We'll have to trade her. Leo, maybe someone can care for her better, and with the money we can buy bread and flour. Leo's heart sank, but he nodded bravely. He kissed Buttercup's soft nose, tied a rope around her neck, and set off toward the market. The morning sun glinting through the tall trees. The road to town was quiet. Birds chirped in the distance, and the wind rustled the grass. Leo thought of his mother's tired face, of their empty cupboards, of Buttercup walking beside him so calmly. Then, just before he reached the market road, he met a strange man standing by a crooked tree. The man had twinkling eyes and a long purple scarf that fluttered even when the breeze didn't. Good morning, the man said with a smile. A fine cow you have there? Leo nodded. Her name's Buttercup. I have to sell her. She stopped giving milk. The man crouched down beside Buttercup, whispered something in her ear, and stood back up. She's not sick, the man said thoughtfully. She's just tired. But I have something even better than coins for you. Leo blinked. Bitta, than coins? The man pulled out a little pouch tied with a red ribbon. Inside were 5 beans, shiny, round, and glowing ever so faintly. These are magic, the man whispered. Plant them at sunset, and by morning you'll have more than enough to make your mother smile again. Leo hesitated. He remembered what his mother had said. By food? By flour? Not magic beans. I don't know. I've never offered these to anyone before, the man said gently. But I think you're the right one. Trust me, Leo. And somehow Leo did. He untied Buttercup's rope and handed it to the man. In return, he tucked the pouch of beans into his pocket and turned back down the road. When Leo got home and told Mira what had happened, her face turned pale. You traded our only cow for beans, she cried. They're magic. Magic won't fill our bellies, Mira said, and she flung the beans out the window into the garden, tears springing to her eyes. Leo went to bed feeling heavy, his heart filled with doubt. But just before dawn, something strange stirred in the air. Birds chirped louder than usual. The wind howled low and steady, and when Leo peeked out the window, his mouth dropped open. In the garden stood a giant bean, twirling and stretching so high into the sky that the top vanished into the clouds. The beans had grown into something otherworldly. Leo ran outside and touched the stalk. It was smooth and cool, with thick leaves and strong vines. A low humming sound came from it, like music from a faraway land. He looked up at the clouds. He thought of the stories his father once told him of golden treasures, hidden lands, and castles in the sky. I'll just take a look, he whispered. Just a peek. So, with steady hands, Leo began to climb Dot up, and up he went, past flocks of birds, drifting clouds, and rays of sunlight. His arms ached, and the wind tugged at his shirt, but he didn't stop. Finally, after what felt like hours, he reached the top. There, nestled on a bed of clouds, stood a massive stone castle. Its doors were taller than oak trees, and windows shimmered with golden light. Leo ducked under the heavy wooden gate and crept inside. Everything was enormous chairs the size of wagons, spoons as long as broomsticks, and a table that stretched from one end of the hall to the other. On that table sat a plate of bones, a cup the size of a barrel, and beside it a giant. He was snoring, his head resting in his hands, and beside him was a bag filled with golden coins shining and bright. Leo's eyes widened. Quietly, carefully, he tiptoed toward the bag, lifted it with both hands, and slung it over his shoulder. The giant stirred. Leo Furosi? Fifi! The giant mumbled in his sleep. Foo! Hoo! Moo! But then he let out a mighty snore and settled back down. Leo didn't wait. He ran out of the castle, grabbed the stalk, and slid all the way down. When he reached the ground, he ran to Mira, breathless. Look! He shouted. We have gold! We don't need to worry anymore. Mira stared at the shining coins. Her hands trembled. These were your father's, she whispered. They were taken long ago, stolen by a thief. That gianty must be the one. Leo didn't know what to say, but they used the gold to buy food and fix their home. For the first time in many months, Mira smiled. I'm proud of you, she said, but promise me. Leo, don't go back up there. Leo promised. But promises, when mixed with curiosity, are hard to keep. Weeks passed. The gold grew thin. Leo stared at the stalk each morning, wondering what else might be up there. One day, he couldn't resist. He climbed again, higher and faster than before, and slipped into the castle once more. This time, the giant was feeding a birdno, a hen with feathers that shimmered like fire. The giant commanded Dot. The hen clucked and laid a golden egg. Leo's jaw dropped. A golden egg. Every day, the giant soon dozed off again, and Leo snuck forward, scooped the hen into his arms, and ran. Mira was shocked when he returned. I told you not to go, she cried. But this hen, Leo said, she lays golden eggs. And it was true. Every morning, the hen laid one shining egg. They saved, built a new roof, and shared their fortune with neighbors. Still, something stirred inside Leo. What if there was more? So one morning, before the sun had fully risen, Leo climbed the beanstalk once again. In the castle. The giant was listening to music not from a lute or a flute, but from a harp that played by itself, soft melodies that floated through the air like perfume. The giant hummed and soon dozed off. Leo reached for the harp, but as soon as his fingers touched it, the harp shrieked. Thief, it cried. Help! The giant jolted upright. Fee, if foo, famu. Leo ran. The harp wriggled in his hands, still shouting. The giant thundered after him, the castle shaking with each step. Down the beanstalk, Leo slid, branches snapping as he flew past them. The giant followed. Mira saw him coming and screamed, "Leo!" Leo landed hard in the garden. "The axe!" he shouted. Mira tossed it to him. He swung with all his might. Once, twice, again. The stalk cracked, groaned, and finally snapped. The giant tumbled from the sky, vanishing in a puff of cloud and wind. Nothing was left but silence. Leo dropped the axe and fell to the ground. Exhausted, Mira ran to him, tears in her eyes. "You're safe," she whispered. He nodded. "I'm sorry. I wanted to see what else there was." "You're brave," she said, "and kind. But sometimes enough is enough." From then on, Leo never climbed again. The hen continued to lay golden eggs. Mira taught Leo to plant vegetables, to share with the village, and to enjoy the sun on his face. They had enough, and Leo learned that sometimes the greatest treasures aren't found in clouds or castles. They're in the people who love us, the kindness we give, and the wisdom we grow.